There you live, mate.
We're live with Kenny Ken in the building. How are Kenny? How are you? Can you hear me, Ken?
Yeah, you come up in.
Trust me to get one. You were my first one with your mic. Have you got your earphones in?
Trust me.
You're not coming through clearly. Anyway, Kenny, let's talk. Let's talk about the latest.
Am I coming through clearly? Am I coming through clearly?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Right, Kenny. Let's talk about the game on the other night. Leeds United first half. Thought we could have been outplayed. I thought we was outplayed. We could have been 3-0 down. What's your thoughts on the game in general?
Basically, I think what it was is that I think, sometimes when you play opponents, like you can lift yourself for Man United, you can lift yourself for Chelsea, because you're playing at home because they're big games, and sometimes, right, it's one of those things, right, where what it's like. It's like New Year's Eve is a massive day, right, and then New Year's Day is like the anti-climax. You go to a club on New Year's Eve, everything's packed, and you go to the club the next day, and hardly anyone's there. And I think the Leeds game kind of felt like a New Year's Day situation where we weren't at that level. We thought the Leeds wouldn't have that sort of intensity that Man United and Chelsea would have. So we kind of stepped off our level. We went back into our bad habits that we normally have when we play against Arteta. Because I know under Emery we struggled for that sort of intensity, and we struggled with that again with Freddie as well. And I think it was just going back to the bad ways, and Leeds took advantage of that. But saying that, Claude, I would say that Leeds, if Leeds want to, like I said, moving forward, do something in the Premiership next season, they need to be more clinical than that. You can't have 15 shots on target and not get a goal. And they probably suffered from a lack of pace. And because of we went into the game at half time 0-0, it gave us the opportunity to sort of get back in the game. And all we had to do was just up our intensity, in terms of like our pressing and our aggressive forward play. And then Leeds wouldn't be able to cope with that because they weren't able to match their tempo.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just going to answering these lovely donations. Thank you, Ty Cheeks. Thank you, Alexander Gomez. Is Kenny Ken a Nigerian from the From the Yuba ethnic group? What's that, Kenny? I don't understand.
No, basically what it is, he wants to know. I'm Igbo. You're right. I am Igbo.
Yeah.
And my family are from Onitsha, which is in the east of the eastern state of Nigeria. So basically, we had a civil war between 1967 and 1970. And if my tribe won the civil war, I would be called a Biafran rather than a Nigerian. So yeah, that is the family history.
Oh, right. So that answers that. I have no clue what is going on about, Kenny, but thanks for answering that. Yeah. Right, Kenny, what's the situation now? Do you think we now need to enter the market for me? This is how I feel. I feel this season, give Arteta the chance now to develop with these players till the end of the season, and then what he can see is not good enough, out the door. And then bringing his players that he wants to. I think getting these players on loan, I don't think it's going to help things. I think this season, to me, I don't know about you, Kenny, as far as the league is concerned, is a bit of a write-off. So, how do you feel?
I think the thing is, right, Arteta's not stupid enough. It's easy for us to say it's a write-off, but there's going to be games when we're going to have this season. Like, say we treat it like a write-off. Say we lose on Saturday and we lose pretty heavily, then fans will be upset because of the simple reason is that every game in the Premiership has something on it. Yeah, we know we're not going to win the league, and the top four may be maybe a step too far. But if the top four is mathematical gettable, and most importantly, fans have this sort of feel-good factor that Arteta's second coming, and he's already got an identified way of playing football. Then, as much as they'll give Arteta some sort of leeway, it's highly likely that they too are going to be expectant. So it's hard to do that when it's mathematical. Because remember, you look at the games we've got. It's a feel-good factor. The next game's Crystal Palace. Then after Crystal Palace, we've got Sheffield United, and then you go in the FA Cup, and after that, you have a little bit of a break, and then after that, after that, in between that, we've got Chelsea away, and then you've got games at home games against Newcastle and Everton. So it's one of those things that if we keep on winning these games, then what do you say then? I'm not saying we're going to win them, but you have to ask yourself a question. Would expectations be higher? Look at with Man United last season, when Man United said, "Oh yeah, let's write off this season," then all of a sudden Solskjaer went unbeaten away from home. He went on a sort of consecutive wins where he won at Wembley last season against Tottenham. Expectations went high. They thought they're going to get in the top four, probably get in the European Cup final. That's how things can change in football.
Just going to read this message saying that says, Claude and Kenny, legends of the club. I don't know about legends, but thank you for the donation, by the way.
Thank you very much, mate.
Thank you very much. That's very nice of you. Sonny's in the building. Sonny's in the building as well. And he says, nice to see you on the stream. So, yeah. Sonny, I tried to invite you on, but I had a lot of problems tonight with that. I sent you a link to invite you on as well, but I don't know what's happening. I don't know. Kenny struggled to get through. It's my first time on here, to be honest with you. I've never done this sort of thing before, so bear with me. It's my first time, and I'm quite useless on these sort of things. So, as you can see, we'll carry on as it is. It's a learning process, isn't it, Kenny? Right.
Yeah, it's a learning post, mate.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly. Kenny, Crystal Palace on Saturday, 12:30 kickoff. Nice and early. Hope to be seeing you down at Finsbury Park to get on the train there.
I'm a bit tight. I don't, me. I'll probably make you go on a bus. Miss out zone 1.
Oh no buses. No. If we go on buses, we'll never get there.
I'm probably one of those guys who'll probably say, meet me at Caledonian Road. We go to King's Cross, get the bus 390.
Oh no, Kenny, no.
Save some money.
No, that's what Ty done once, and he got in at half time, and that's not very.
Trouble with, for every Ty, he doesn't know the bus routes like I do, but I get where you're coming from anyway.
The trouble is with Ty, right? We try. Even last night, we was at Abbey Wood because we had a friendly for our last friendly before the big final on Sunday at Harlow, and I got on the train back, and I'm afraid Ty decided to get a bus at Abbey Wood. I don't know how he got home and what time he got home. So yeah, I wouldn't go by the route of Ty. What do you think of the Crystal Palace game on Saturday? They've got key players suspended, haven't they?
Yeah, their captain Mihailovic.
Very key player. Very
suspended. I know they're appealing the red card, although it was when we saw it in VAR, it was quite a correct decision. Also, they got injuries in key areas. It looks like they're one of their Saka's going to play left back. They also got injuries to Andros Townsend, and they've lost a big group of their defenders as well. I know people talking about 11 injuries. So,
I didn't realise that, Kenny. So really, we should be real favourites for this one. Then
you say that, but the thing about it, right, is that one of the things about Crystal Palace is that they've lost some defenders, but Sahar's still will be playing. You know, they're getting Benteke's beginning to be more a nuisance, and it looks like you know, I think Tompkins is fit, so he's still going to be like I said in the side. I'm hearing that I've got it wrong that Kayate will play left back. I'm hearing not that Kayate will play left back. It's Sacco who won't be playing left back. It'll actually be Kayate. So they are being a bit patched up. But you know what it's like at Crystal Palace. We've been there a lot of times, and it's kind of the Crystal Palace raw, isn't it? The fans are close to the pitch. There's a lot of passion. And one thing is that when you've got someone like Wilfried Zaha, you know, at that sort of outlet, he's the sort of player that can win a game of his own on his day. You know what I mean? And we're still work in progress, Claude. I know a lot of people were saying about Mikel's changed things. All Mikel's done is that he's got us doing the basics. You know, like that sort of thing we talk about a lot. It's about little spaces in midfield where you have two midfields, and basically the team that gets that space first, i.e. by pressing or by getting numbers, bodies in that midfield, they tend to be able to dictate the match and win those sort of games. And I think what Mikel's trying to do is trying to get us to do that. But it's not out of the woods yet, because they're still not fit enough for me, you know. And I think that's one thing we need to learn. And also another thing as well is that he has to keep things simple for now, because of the fact that he's getting players who haven't been pressing a football match on a regular basis for, in some cases, 5 or 6 years. So it's still work in progress. So when people say we've got this new philosophy, I think they're quite mistaken. All he's trying to do is get results, keep things simple. So obviously a bit excited because, you're seeing the football you like, attacking football, you like your favourite players back in your side. But there's still a few bits of lopsidedness in the side, and I think Mikel Arteta would be the first person to realise this.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, I did say give a lot of our fans going a bit over the top with Arteta at the moment, but yeah, we've got to give him time. Don't judge him one way or the other until the end of the season, and then we've got to see what he actually puts in transfer wise, get what players he'll get.
See, that's the thing, Claude. The thing in terms of like transfers, whether we like it or not, they're very, very, very dependent on where we finish and what this season and what sort of competition we're playing. Preferably, if you want the sort of players that Mikel Arteta needs, then you have to be in the Champions League. Unai Emery made it there was talk about Unai Emery that if Arsenal won in Baku and got the Champions League, they would have gone for someone like Harry Maguire. There's a player from Atletico Madrid, Partey, the midfielder, and also they were talk about maybe making that extra step to get Wilfried Zaha. But unfortunately, with that Champions football, you haven't got the finances to sort of, or the pool to get these players you need.
Yeah, there's a point coming from Monster Kate, some weird names on here. He says, is Guendouzi good enough to start a game? I prefer Torreira and Xhaka. To be honest with you, I think Guendouzi. I think it's not his fault. He's not ready yet. I wouldn't mind him going out on loan actually, because I don't think he's actually. How can I say it? He's got a lot to learn.
I think the thing with Guendouzi is that I think with a lot of young players is that when you fast track them, they have to learn on the job. Now, and I think what's happening is that because they're learning on the job, you're going to see a lot of inconsistencies where they're playing. You've got to realise now is that when under Unai Emery, he kind of, because his form kind of dictated it, that he became kind of leading the midfield because he wasn't ready. Obviously, there was problems with Granit Xhaka. He lost a bit of form. Also, his problems with the crowd, and also there was a situation with Torreira where Torreira was kind of second fiddle because second part of last season, Terrero kind of lost form, lost a bit of fitness, and Unai Emery admittedly was trying to get different things from Terrero, because you know what Surrey was doing with Conte last year. He was trying to get Conte into sort of advanced positions where he could add a different body into the attack, and I think that's what we wanted for Lucas Torreira, because like Conte, Torreira does have some sort of goal threat, and we've seen this before quite a couple of times this season and sometimes last season. So I think what managers across the world are doing with players like Torreira and Kante is that they're basically trying to get them to have different facets to their game, i.e. attacking point of view. But unfortunately, what happened, we lost form. Lucas Torreira lost a bit of confidence. He demanded to play as a DM, and because of that, we looked a bit lost-sided. In terms of like Guendouzi, one of the things Guendouzi, you know how I see Guendouzi, he reminded me of Paul Ince in his last season of Man United and Steven Gerrard as well, where because they don't keep their positions, when we don't have the ball, when the opposition have the ball, there's a kind of a lopsidedness in the midfield where there's always a spare man. So when there's a counter attack, they're always the last people in possession trying to, get the defences. So sometimes when you'll see a lot of the times that when Guendouzi's jogging, and the reason why Guendouzi's jogging is one, he's out of position, but he's too far advanced, and because he hasn't got the fitness, he can't get back. Like if you look at the Chelsea goal when they beat us 2-1, two mistakes I saw. The first mistake was come from Pepe. He's in an advanced position, but what he's trying to do now, he doesn't have the player to run in from the back. So what he's not doing, he's not holding the ball up, holding the ball. He's waiting for a player to make the move, or waiting for someone to press him and then make the pass. What he's doing, he's making the pass. So what happens is Chelsea cut it out. But what happens is Guendouzi is now on his toes.
Yeah, I agree. Curtis Shaw, one of my players at AFTV, says, give a shout out to you, big bro Kenny Ken. Hey?
Great to see you, Curtis, man. Good luck in the final with AFTV. Also, I've got a soft spot for DT as well, so I can't have this podcast without wishing him good luck as well. Yeah. And I just hope it's a great final. Both, I've got a lot of time for DT. I've got a lot of time for Kieran, great lads. And I've got a lot of time for everyone on AFTV, and I just made the best team win. Hopefully, football wins the day. And who knows, after the final win, lose or draw, you guys can get together, have a drink, and like I said, shake hands, and be friends again,
Right, sorry about I can't get these. See, this is where I'm going wrong. I can't get these things off the screen here. I'll put on the screen there.
Don't worry about getting them off the screen. Don't get worried about getting them off the screen. Remember, it's your first broadcast.
Yeah, I know. I was saying this. I wanted to put other messages up, but for some reason I can't get these other ones off the screen. But never mind. Anyway, bear with me, everyone. I really apologise for this. Let's have a look if we can. No. Anyway, Kenny, as I was going to say, I was going to bring up another point. You do fancy us to win on Saturday, yeah?
The thing about it is that it's still going to be a hard game. We're still not as fit as we would like, but we have to beat Crystal Palace. We have to be on the front foot in terms of we've got to play as aggressively as we did against Chelsea and Man United. And one of the things about Crystal Palace, one thing about it is the flanks again. Don't give them any leeway down the flanks, especially Saha. Double up on him and make sure that the fullbacks, whoever they play, whether it's Ward or whether it's Kouyaté, make sure they don't get in situations where they can support their wide players. Because if you give them that situation where they can support the players, then they're going to murder us. You don't want them getting behind our back four. You want a situation where we're keeping them occupied. That's the best way to stop Crystal Palace is on those flanks. And also what we need to do is that when Crystal Palace have the ball, we need to get in their faces and stop that outlet to Zaha. Every ball is going to go towards Zaha. Even the situation where even the knockdowns, when Benteke's going to win the knockdowns, is for Zaha to run onto. Hello?
Yeah, sorry, Kenny. Sorry. Are you still there?
I thought I lost you, mate.
Yeah, no, sorry. I went out. I was trying to use a way of getting Sonny on our show. He wants to come on, but can't send a link because every time I have to leave the studio, apparently, according to this. But anyway, it's a learning process. And Sonny, I do apologise. If you're there, I will try and get you on. We'll do something tomorrow, probably, or some. Whatever we go. Here we go. Let's have some more messages up. There, keep your messages coming. Right, so let's have a look. Let's see. Sorry, no, Kenny's not running the show alone. Kenny, can you hear me, mate?
I can hear you perfectly.
Right, sorry, mate. I know you're not. How can I say it? You're not Mesut Ozil's biggest fan, are you, Kenny?
Yes. No,
Right.
see, that's a misconception. As far as I'm concerned, Mesut Ozil, I've seen Mesut Ozil. I've got an advantage over quite a lot of fans, especially our nephews. Because I call, the younger fans, they're like my nephews and nieces, where they're a bit younger than me. And how I look at it this way is that I've seen the best of Mesut Ozil. I saw the best of him at Werder Bremen, and I also saw the best of him at Germany under-21s and Real Madrid. I'm not sure that Mesut Ozil is going to be able to reach those heights. But what Mesut Ozil does give us is that he does have a situation. He does, technical ability. People may argue he doesn't have the great technical ability. He does, in my opinion, and he does have the ability to. For me, he's very good at finding a pass that a midfielder's not capable of doing. Also, he's a very good first touch. He's got a very good first touch pass. You know what I mean? When some players are not able to make that pass, Mesut Ozil was able to do that. However, my biggest criticism of Mesut Ozil, as usual, is work rate. Also, my biggest criticism and disappointment is he doesn't get enough goals. We're in a situation where, every point counts, every goal counts. Yet, if you look at his stats, especially this season, they're very disappointing. Sometimes, all right, I know he likes to be like the assist king and he likes to take the play, but if you're a player of that caliber, you have to be able to be on goal scoring records more often. Look at De Bruyne. He's a playmaker. He's a creator, but he's on the score sheet. Even Eriksen, he's had a very average season, but he scored a few goals this season for Tottenham. So, for me, obviously, but that's two more than the Mesut Ozil. You know what I mean? So that's where I get disappointed and I do get frustrated.
Yeah, I can understand that. We'd all love to see the Mesut Ozil of Werder Bremen and Real Madrid, but I mean, maybe we that's where we saw the best of him. But he's still a useful player to have in the squad, I think, to me at the moment. And I still think he's a good player to have in the squad at the moment and until the end of the season, and possibly someone like Jack Grealish coming in at the end of the season.
I think that's a very good call because I remember watching a game. I was watching match day 2, and it was Man United playing Aston Villa, and he was probably the best player on the pitch. And I put something on my Instagram and Twitter about it was kind of a Jack Grealish with question marks. I do think that Jack Grealish is the sort of player we are looking for, to the extent that I think when you look at midfielders right nowadays, they just pass and move, crossfield pass, crossing the box, free kicks. There isn't a midfielder out there can actually beat his man, commit his midfielders and defenders and actually getting the score sheet. Jack Grealish has got that sort of unique ability that he can do that. I know Jack Wilshere was threatening to do that before he had his injuries, but I do think that the national side can do with looking at this player like Grealish, into the extent that he gives them that sort of option where he can commit defences and he can get past tight defences, especially when they're well drilled.
Very similar, aren't they, Kenny?
What's that?
Very similar. Very similar in style.
Wilshere.
Yeah, very similar in style. Yeah, very similar. Yeah. I like Grealish. Every time I watch him now, I couldn't judge him last season because he's playing in the Championship, but I've seen him in the Premier League now. Yeah, I wouldn't mind taking him on in the summer. I've got a feeling that someone else will beat us to him.
Well, I know. If Aston Villa didn't get promoted, I know Spurs were sniffing, because Spurs have been in the after looking at Grealish for quite a while. I know for a couple of seasons they're definitely looking at him, but Man United are in the sort of conjunction as well, because you look at Man United are looking at both him and Maddison, and both of them are kind of similar but dissimilar in a way. Like, I just, if I was talking about midfielders who can pass the ball, spot a pass, put a cross in, good on set pieces. And I think James Maddison's like that, although he does have a goal threat as well. He doesn't.
Kenny, what's
in terms of
sorry, mate,
yeah.
I didn't mean to interrupt you there. What are your thoughts, Kenny? I've just had from Kevin. This is a question from Kevin Moreno. And he says, what are your thoughts on Maitland-Niles as a right back? I thought he played quite well in the last. Which game was it? Recent game. He played quite well there, didn't he?
United.
Was it yeah, I thought he played quite well, didn't he, in that game?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are your real thoughts on him though as a right back, Kenny? What do you think? Do you think he can develop into that position properly now?
There's nothing to stop him from doing that, because the simple reason is that he's got the attributes, he's got the pace, he's got the athleticism. What he has to work on is his final ball. You know what I mean? And he has to work on his defending as well. Because I think the problem with the thing is that a lot of footballers, especially with his athleticism, they expect their pace to get them out of trouble all the time. And I think it's a learning curve. One thing we can't like I said, discount is that he was doing a good job under Arsene Wenger's last season when he was playing at left back and right back, and when Hector got injured last season, he did quite a good job for us. However, there's still things he needs to learn. I just wish that there was someone in the club who could just work in his game and work in those sort of.
Kenny, Chadwick, my friend Chadwick has come on. Which player has gone after the season, Laka or Aubameyang? I don't think we will keep both. What do you think, Kenny? I
think it's high. I'd be very. I think if anyone was going to go, it'd probably be Aubameyang, because of the fact that perhaps he's more marketable in terms of, like, we can get a massive fee for him. And you look at the situation, is he going to be 31 this year? I asked anyone in the chat room in your question, would you turn down 70 million for a 31-year-old?
Yeah, it's a good point, Kenny. But yeah, we've got Martinelli coming through as well. So that's a good point. 71 million, you can't turn it down, can you? But then again, strikers, good top strikers can go on till 34, 35. Look at
definitely, but you've got a couple in the facts, right? Is that he said the right things, and it's commendable now he's captain. But you've got to ask yourself a question. This will be his third season without Champions League football. Although, yeah, he did play in the Champions League in 2017, 2018 when he was at Dortmund, and then he came, and that prohibits him from playing in the Europa League for us in his first season. But whether we like it or not, you cannot call yourself an an employee of choice if you're not playing Champions League football. And I think it's going to be a situation that will be very difficult to keep hold of our players, especially players like Bamman, especially someone who's going to be 31. He's going to win trophies again. He's going to want to play in the best club competition in world football. So, it's very hard to, grudge we club. Have to.
All right, true. Let's see if I've got any more questions coming up. Let's have a look here. What we got? I don't know what you think. I don't know what you think of this one. Where is it? Where has it gone? Can you see that on the screen, Kenny?
Yeah, I've just seen it. Should we sign Danny Ings?
DJ Samuel.
You can't. You see, that's the thing about that. No, I think the thing about it, he's not. It's an excellent question, because what we tend to do, especially as Arsenal fans, is that there's a lot of gems in the Premiership that we're discounting. Even like Norwich, they've got two good fullbacks. Aaron's, and they've got the guy Lewis, the Northern Ireland international left back. What we should be, any club worth their salt should be looking at these players. We should be looking at James Maddison. We should be looking at Jack Grealish. We should be looking at Lewis Dunk. Even Webster at Brighton as well. We should be. Danny Ings is a second joint top goal scorer. He's overcome his injuries that he had at Liverpool, and he's now banging form, and he's still young enough. You can't discount that. You know what I mean? And he hasn't lost his pace. So, it's one of those things where you think, why not?
Yeah, that's a great point. Because that Aaron, he's been linked with Arsenal, hasn't he?
Well, I think Aaron's, he's been linked, although he's linked with Arsenal and Tottenham, and but Spurs seem to think they're favourites to get the player.
Yeah. I saw that link the other day, but we can be too fussy. You know what? We are a bit snobby sometimes, our fans, because even when Johnny Evans was available, everyone poo-pooed it, didn't they? And look what a job he's done for Leicester. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you know what I think, Claude, is one of the things is that you remember back 25 years ago when Alan Sugar came out with this sort of thing, Carlos Kickable. I think it wasn't the most PC thing he ever said. But I think what's happened is that, especially Arsenal fans, we want, rather than having Mick Greaves from Islington, we want Carlos Kickable from abroad. You know what I mean?
Not now. Sorry, Kenny.
Don't worry about it. You do it a lot of times when I'm on podcast, don't you?
I'll have to phone back. I should have switched it off. I know that is. It's not Sonny. It's someone else. But I don't know what it's phoning me now. I hope nothing's happened. Anyway, what else is there before we wrap this up, Kenny?
All right.
Let's have a look at some more comments. Chadwick, where's Chadwick? No, there's not really. Someone said his Ty calling. No, Ty doesn't call. He doesn't. Yeah, and people are having a go at me for leaving my phone on there. Well, you have to bear with me, everyone. It's my first time doing this thing, and I'm not very technically minded, as you will well know. I suffer from dyslexia and everything else, so you have to be very patient with me. Right, Kenny, wrap it up. Let's have a score prediction. Score prediction for Saturday. Crystal Palace.
And Arsenal. Right, Crystal Palace 2, Arsenal 3.
Crystal Palace 2, Arsenal 3, yeah?
Yeah, it's going to be
I'm going to go 2-1 Arsenal. I think I'm going to go 2-1 Arsenal, and I'm going to go Aubameyang on the score sheet. And first goal, Aubameyang. So, there we go.
First of the season.
Hey? What's that?
Gets his first of the season, or does he get?
Well, you never know, do you? Has he not scored this season, Ozil? Has Ozil not scored this season?
I don't think he scored this season. I don't think he scored this season.
I thought he did. I thought he got one. I'm not sure, but can anyone in the comments tell me has Ozil scored this season?
5-5, he didn't score, did he?
Hey?
He didn't score. You know, in the 5-5 at Anfield, he didn't get one of the goals. And in the 5-0, it's Nottingham Forest. I don't think he scored either.
No, he hasn't scored in the Premier League at all.
No, he hasn't.
I thought he had one, but maybe one or two. Maybe I'm wrong. I think you're. I know you're very good on stats, Kenny. So I believe you. I will believe you on that one. If there's anything else before we go, no. Right, thanks, Kenny. Thanks for everyone who's been sending nice messages, and hopefully we'll be doing a bit more of this. This is the trial run today. I thought I'd do a trial run to see if I can get this working. And Kenny, thank you very much for coming on.
Not a problem, mate. Not a problem. Like I said, it'll be the first of many.
You know you're my adopted brother, don't you?
100%, mate.
And I'll see you on Saturday morning, yeah?
Apart from having my family's blood, I've got Italian blood now.
Listen, I understand. Kenny,
I must say,
Kenny, it's got to be 9 o'clock, Finsbury Park, yeah?
Well, we know how much I'm going to go to the gym first, so you'll have to come up with me. Cut the Cali. We'll go from Cali.
What time are you going to the gym?
First thing in the morning. And I mean, first thing in the morning. Gym opens about 7, 8. So I'll have a shower about just.
Do you know why? Because
I'll be waiting for you. What's that?
I think we're better off going hybrid and going straight through. So we change them. We have to change them.
You can still come and collect me at the gym, can't you?
Yeah, well, it's Caledonian Road, isn't it?
Yeah, because you normally come to like the Market Road gym, gym at the tennis.
Yeah, I know where it is. Yeah, I'll come. Actually, I'll tell you what. I put on so much weight, I might even book in myself.
Hey, you said that last season.
Yeah, no, I've got to do that, Kenny. I've put too much weight on, mate. I'm you know what? Even the last 2 days, I'm so bad now. The last 2 days, I've stopped eating properly now. I'm not even eating. I want to try and lose weight properly. So I'm not even eating. I'm not having breakfast anymore now. I just had dinner in the evening now.
You've got to realise you can't do it like that. You've got to realise even if you starve yourself, your body still holds on to the the internal fat because what it's doing is it's trying to, how do I say it? It's stored and it's trying to feed itself. What you need to do is little and often. Once you do little and often with a bit of exercise, and it flies off. So basically, you can eat about 7 times a day, but they have to be healthy meals. No snacks, no in between, and you've got to give up the booze.
Oh, that's the point. Oh, that's the problem. And with Johnny Buttons, it's not easy. Right. Anyway, cheers, Kenny. All the best, mate. See you Saturday, yeah? I'll call you tomorrow and we'll arrange a meet, yeah?
Definitely, mate.
All right, thanks for joining.
No problem.
Thanks for everyone. Thank you, everyone, and hopefully be back soon when I get this properly organised, but with a proper podcast, and have a few more guests then we can really get going. Thank you for being very patient. Take care, everyone. Have a great weekend, and see you soon.